Welcome to the Auburn Medical Group YouTube live stream, the entertaining medical live stream where viewers can ask real-time questions of real medical doctors. And here are our hosts, Dr. Mark Vaughn and Dr. Gawain Vaughn.
And now we begin the show.
We do.
Welcome, Dr. Gawain. I should say who we are. So,
Hey, that's me.
that's right. See our names, and you see our socials there, which is what Dr. Vaughn uses. Well, we're both Dr. Vaughn, but that's what I use for my stage name and the name I record under for music.
Right.
Which there's a chance that the song at the end of today's show will be put out under Dr. Vaughn on Spotify. It could happen.
Ooh.
It could happen. Hasn't been
You
recorded
gonna
yet.
produce it a little, or?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I would just lay down the rhythm track on the guitar.
There you go.
And then try to come up with other stuff, in the studio, the different keyboards and synths and such.
Could be a hit.
Could be, and just go ahead and put in a drum track, make it kind of a pop thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of timely. I don't know if it'll have much life
Right.
beyond just this season. We're being a little coy here with something because we don't want to have people make a connection stronger than it should be between our song and current
Because we
events.
are just onlooking doctors, not making diagnoses.
I'm not talking about any particular patient. In fact, I'm not talking about my patient, but I am putting information out that might be of interest to people in, say, the United States and the world.
United States.
At this-
So general. If you are a person,
So
are alive.
it's really hot here today. When we're filming this, it's what, 105 outside or
something like
thereabouts.
that. Definitely over 100.
So instead of getting my usual mocha, I got the it's a Rebel, which means it's caffeinated. Green.
You said electric berry. I had
Electric berry.
I had lemonade.
He had the electric berry lemonade.
It was delicious.
So if he's a little sluggish, it's because he didn't have the Rebel.
It's because I didn't get any caffeine.
But I noticed that it tastes kind of like cough syrup. And you told me that's the Rebel.
Rebel part of it.
That's the Rebel.
Yeah, it kind of
Okay,
has
so
that weird.
I don't think I'm a fan of the Rebel.
Yeah.
I'll get a different one next time. So that's what that's all about. But thank you for joining us. We are talking about Parkinson's disease in 2024.
Parkinson's.
If you search around the news right now for Parkinson's, you may find it associated with a particular current event type situation. We don't want to make more of that connection than we should, but we do want you to know a little bit of what we're seeing and what we're talking about here.
Sure.
When we're talking about Parkinson's, did you want to do anything on Parkinson's? Did you want to
Do anything.
I mean, like,
Act it out? No, that probably would be good.
well, I do like to try to replicate the pill rolling tremor.
Yes, the pill rolling tremor.
Can I get
the classic pill rolling tremor?
It's kind of this, the thumb going like this. They say as if a person had a pill standing on their fingers and they're rolling it with their thumb. The rate of the tremor is kind of like this, roughly.
Yeah. Looks right.
Around 5 per second. 3 to 8 per second, I think, is what they say.
What would that be, like 100?
And so you'll see this shaky hands is often how people talk about it. It's kind of one of the hallmarks of Parkinson's disease.
However,
until you see someone who's not showing it.
Yeah. So that's the big thing, and probably the biggest takeaway we want to make sure you get is Parkinson's is a problem with negative symptoms more than positive symptoms. And
That'd be a good thing to go over, yeah.
What we mean by that is negative symptoms are things you lose. Right, and then positive symptoms are things that come on as a result of the disease.
Yeah.
So the classic acronym that we're taught in medical school for Parkinson's is TRAP, T-R-A-P. So the T is tremor, R is rigidity, A is akathisia, low or not moving much, and then P is postural instability. We can go through each of those, but the negative ones are like the movement stuff. You slow down. You don't move as much. You kind of have this shuffling walking.
Hypokinesis.
You're stiff. Don't walk as fluidly.
Yeah. Steps are purposeful.
And your face kind of becomes this mask where it just looks like you're not showing expression. You kind of have this flat affect with it.
Yeah, masked facies. I want you to remember that term because it comes up later in the show.
Okay.
Somewhere
Somewhere
in one of these
there
verses.
it is.
Okay. Yeah, first word. Okay. So masked facies. I remember the first time I saw it. It was in a nursing home in Nampa, Idaho, and there was a lady there who would go and see, and she had this fixed expression. So fixed expression, it doesn't change, or it changes very little. The facial muscles move very slowly, and the expression was kind of a look of surprise or fear.
Almost, yeah. You're kind of like a astonishment. Like, have you ever seen somebody like taken aback, like, that's like
their face gets
like,
stuck
like that look.
Somebody hit them on the back right when they're making that face, and it's stuck that way for the rest of their lives.
Slightly.
They can change it though, and I noticed that during the particular current event
you were so vague.
that we watched together at my brother's house. That there could be different expressions. I saw different expressions, but when they were made, they were like stuck. And you could transition between them.
It's hard to get out of it. You kind of get stuck in it. And the thing is, it's typically in situations where the person's distracted or doing something else, like they're listening intently, they're watching something, and they don't realize that they can't. Like, they can control it if they want to, but typically if they're doing anything else, they kind of go to this default masked face.
Yeah. So
that's the negative.
I think we hit masked facies and a negative.
Yeah.
Let's hit the comments.
Yeah.
Because we have an audience. We have a live audience here.
Thanks for
and not only a live audience, but Laura Barsick. Woo! Laura. Woo!
We are staying hydrated.
Laura wants us to stay hydrated.
Yes.
Do we have the? I think we do. Should we do this?
It's been so hot. Like, all my animals, I've got a fair amount of animals. Like, making sure all of them have clean water. So my wife's going out and changing their water.
Watering more than once a day.
Yeah, 3 or 4 times a day. And we got back from a trip, and we were using our pop-up camper. And I just had to pop up the camper just to get everything out and kind of set it up. It took like 15 minutes. I was drenched. Like, just being out there in 105 degrees. Oh my goodness.
Oregon, a little bit in from the coast.
Yeah, it was still hot though. It was over 100 degrees where we were at, so it was.
And we were driving across Wyoming, Utah.
We had access to a pool. That was fortunate.
Oh, good for you.
That was fortunate.
Yeah, so we got in the lake.
Everybody was in the pool.
Okay.
Anyways,
but we're back to work
hydrated
now. Being doctors.
Parkinson's.
And YouTube.
Negative. So the positive are the things that you gain. So the classic one is tremor. Everybody comes in.
We're not caught up.
Oh, we're not caught up.
I mean, we got comments.
We'll come back to the positive symptoms.
We'll come back to positive symptoms.
We don't want to miss those.
After we lament Lindsay Antwine lost a kitten.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I should mention that because it's a sad thing that she's going through. And I'm getting to the other comments here. We have Laurie M. I've not seen your name before.
Laurie.
Hi, Dr. Vaughn. Nice meeting you at the
But you have met her.
Symposium. At the Management Symposium. So that was in San Francisco. Laurie M. Oh, I'm embarrassed.
Didn't go.
At the Management Symposium in San Francisco. Laurie M. Hi, Laurie. See you again. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble.
So another thing that comes along with Parkinson's is dementia. No, just kidding.
Okay. Laura Webb asked a question about the tremor. Does it affect both hands
good little segue
can it just
here.
affect one or not?
Great question. Yes.
Yeah.
It can be either or. When people come in with a tremor, that's always their first concern. I have this tremor, doc. Do I have Parkinson's? And there are many other causes for a tremor, and more often than not, it's not Parkinson's. Because again, Parkinson's is the hallmark of a bunch of different symptoms that kind of coalesce in this disease state. So the tremor is just one of those. Yes, one, both, either or. Definitely. Typically, you've probably seen this. Typically, it's one side more than the other. People have one side that seems to be more affected, in my experience.
Quite often, in preparing for the show, I was reading about Parkinson's. It did talk about a more affected side in a number of things.
Right.
The stiffness.
It's more on one side than the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Lindsay, I think she's kind of caught on. Why on earth did you subject yourselves to that spectacle? She knows what the spectacle is. We all knew what the outcome was going to be. Nothing good. Okay.
We had a nice little viewing party with family, and it was really nice to be with family. So
it was really nice to have a quaint.
That part was really nice.
Because there's a similarity between us that we don't share with the rest of the family. That it was nice to, okay. And Lindsay's saying it wasn't a kitten, it was an old cat. Oddly enough, had severe neurological issues.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's sad to hear.
Okay. So we talked about the negative, the masked faces.
Yeah, so the positives, one would be a tremor.
The tremor's a positive symptom, meaning it's something that's added to or you see.
Yeah.
And then?
So the rigidity of the muscles, like they get stiff. Yeah, so you can test out on me. Am I testing out on you?
Oh, I'm testing out on you.
Okay.
So I'm going back and forth. On him, this is smooth
nice
now.
and fluid.
Can you replicate?
Yeah, sure.
Cogwheel rigidity. Oh, look at that. Can you see that on camera? Look at that. Look at that. Cogwheel rigidity. Can
So
you
it's
see,
like
catches.
Yeah. You and
because of a tremor superimposed
on muscle
stiffness.
extension.
Yeah. Although they can have, I did read this. They can have lead pipe rigidity.
Yes, the lead pipe. Yeah.
Where you don't have the tremor.
They just don't.
So that would be like a person with Parkinson's who doesn't have the tremor. They'd have lead pipe rigidity.
Yeah.
And as far as the tremor, the patient can feel it before it can be observed. Because they can tell the muscles are doing something.
Yeah, before
it be of enough amplitude to be able to see.
Yeah.
Okay, Laurie M. Any suggestion for, I'll read it off here. Any suggestion for how to break the news to a loved one that is in denial about a Parkinson's diagnosis?
Did their doctor talk to them about it? I mean, who made the diagnosis?
Yeah,
I guess is my first question. Let's confirm that the diagnosis is correct.
I've seen this a lot where you tell the patient what their diagnosis is, and they just don't accept it. And family members may be in the office with them, or they may tell a family member, the doctor says, but I think he's full of bananas. Actually, that doesn't make him full of bananas. Anyway, it's nicer than other things I could have said.
Yeah.
So, we see that not just with Parkinson's, but with a lot of, any dementia.
Oh, absolutely.
You see it a lot because dementia is all is it all negative symptoms?
You get the agitation,
which to
seeing
them,
things that aren't there, the hallucinations.
You can get that.
Like those are the positive symptoms.
But for many patients, it's all negative
but
symptoms.
Mostly, more
easy to be in denial.
Because you don't see it. You don't know what you've lost.
She says the doctor made the diagnosis, but they are in denial.
Oh, gosh.
Laurie, we see that so much.
It is hard.
And it's hard to explain
how to
when it's
break
negative
the
symptoms.
news. If they're in denial,
Really
I'm
hard.
not sure there's a way to break that in a way that's going to be received well. I think it's maybe just reinforcing what the doctor said when people who have the symptoms saying, "Why am I experiencing this?" or "Why is this going on?" You need to re-engage and say, "Well, remember that conversation with the doctor? She was saying this, and that's the diagnosis." That's a hard one. It's a tough position to be in as a loved one. So, because you want to care for them, make sure they get the care they need. So.
Okay. And then Laura Webb, does depression go along with this diagnosis? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Any chronic disease state, depression can be associated with, but those especially that are degenerative and chronic.
But in the description of Parkinson's, depression is
one of the symptoms.
Part of it. So we got through how much? Got through the tremor. We got through the masked facies, postural instability.
The akathisia is just lack of movement. We kind of talked about that.
Yeah.
One of the things people will describe is everything gets smaller and quieter. So, like their voice will get
hypophonia.
Yeah, called hypophonia, where they get talk softer, where almost like a whisper, and they will not move as much. That's kind of the shuffling gaits. Their actions will be smaller. You can do this little thing where like you say, "Hey, do this," and they can't do it. They get down. They just do these little movements. All movements are smaller. So there's actually therapy for Parkinson's I think they call it big and loud baby. where they actually teach them, hey, this is what's happening to your body. Do bigger movements, talk louder, and you can actually have therapy improve that.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Micrographia.
Micrographia, they write smaller. That's what that means.
Yeah.
Yes.
Small
Start to get smaller writing. Maybe we can talk a little bit about treatment then, because treatment's an important thing to consider too, because it does not help with all the symptoms.
Right. And there's some difficulties with treatment. Treatment is not perfect, and it is just treating symptoms.
Yeah.
There is nothing that reverses it. Even deep brain stimulation is still just addressing symptoms. Mm-hmm. And then the medicines, oftentimes, like the dopamine agonists or dopamine L-dopa, will actually cause movement disorder.
Yeah.
So you give them something to address this lack of movement and stiffness, and then you get too far the other way with these weird movements.
And I'm sure you've seen this. Michael J. Fox is a classic example. What
does he look like these days? He's got the movements.
He's kind of coming out of his skin. That's a side effect of the medicine. It's the medicine. It's not the disease state. Yeah. And so I mean, getting down to basics, Parkinson's is a degeneration of the substantia nigra, which is a deep brain area. And actually, it's called substantia nigra because it looks black when you're dissecting a brain.
Black substance.
And that is where dopamine is kind of utilized, made, right? Mostly made. If I'm getting back to my neuroanatomy. But anyways, dopamine's the problem. So you start to use these medications that try to replenish dopamine, and that's kind of the movement chemical in the body.
Yeah.
And they've come a long way, but still not amazing.
Using a particular form of dopamine that gets absorbed and can find its way into the brain. If you give just plain dopamine, it can't cross the blood-brain barrier. So you give L-dopa, which turns into dopamine. And
it's got to get past that.
There's other medicines similar to it and that support it and that counter the side effects, but you can't use them in elderly people. Well, who has Parkinson's? It's elderly people. So the treatment is not pretty. You start with really low doses, and you advance. You start with L-dopa first to see if they respond to it. Before considering using some of the other medicines that aren't as strong, but maybe a little less of the movement side effects. Another comment here, we have Lindsay saying, having a body sucks sometimes. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. That's how we make our living.
Just
because
talk
of that
about
fact.
our ailments.
Okay. So we postural instability, you'll test that in the office by pulling them back and seeing if they step back and just correct themselves with just one step, maximum two, I think. And if they're just off,
they just keep going.
That's positive.
Keep
test.
falling backwards. You don't let them fall, by the way. That is a good doctor.
And then there's also this thing where they'll just stop. Whatever they're doing, they'll just stop. Walking, they'll stop.
It happens often when they're reaching a threshold. So they come to a door.
Yeah.
And they just can't go through. Their body does not want to let them go through a door or onto a different threshold, like transitioning from one flooring to another. It's interesting.
And you see some of these things in the movie Awakenings, where they called them the frozen addicts. They had gotten hold of some bad, what was it, MDMA?
I don't think I've seen that movie.
And
I don't remember this. That's what she said. Awakenings.
Yeah, Awakenings.
Go watch Awakenings.
They were able to be awakened for a period, and then the medicine stopped working and it went back. Very similar to Parkinson's. Very similar to Parkinson's disease. Yeah. Okay. And then Laura Webb, if they had 5 surgeries, how would you test? If they had 5 back surgeries. 5 backs. We're still testing for tremor. We're still testing for rigidity.
If there may be
we're testing for repetitive movements.
Wheelchair bound or something like
We're having them walk.
Right. If they can't walk, maybe is what you're asking. If they're maybe wheelchair bound, not able to do some of the testing, there are still ways. Like again, moving those muscles and that cogwheel rigidity, you can find pretty easily.
And then we didn't even mention the excessive salivation, constipation, sexual dysfunction. All of those also can be symptoms of it. And unfortunately for the drooling that comes with the excessive saliva secretion, the medicines you would give to counter it, which also counter side effects from the other medicines, are anticholinergics.
Yep.
Which you don't want to use in elderly because they cause them to have delirium and other problems.
Yeah.
overheat, and a day like today, you don't want people taking Benadryl and other anticholinergics because it
And
puts them at
drying
risk
out.
for
Yeah.
heat stroke or heat exhaustion. Okay, I think we're caught up on
Hey.
enough that we can go to the song.
Ooh.
So,
I'm going to move out of the way.
let me
Just in
let
the
me
way.
set up my mic here. This is the song mic, in case you didn't know.
Ooh, it's squeaky.
Squeaky song mic. Okay, and then let's get set up with
Move over this way.
guitar.
As I fade into the background, like that Homer meme, just fading into the...
Homer.
You ever see that one where
Yeah,
he
no,
fades into...
I haven't seen it as a meme, but I've seen the
a
show.
meme.
Okay, I think that once I get this going, there'll be a semblance of a balance between myself and. Oh, you went all completely off screen. You didn't have to do that.
I don't want to... This is your moment.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. This is a song about Parkinson's. Don't try to make it about something else. Here we go. He took the stage with steady hands, promised change across this land. Behind his smile, there's a hidden fight. Mass faces in the camera light. He speaks with stutters, words don't go. A battle within, a few will know. Parkinson's, it takes its toll on the body, mind, and soul. But courage shines in the darkest night, fighting on despite the fight. A politician with dreams so grand, running again to lead the land. Said one term, but here he stands in a debate without live fans. Voice falters, movement stiff, yet he denies what's in the script. Parkinson's, it takes its toll on the body, mind, and soul. But courage shines in the darkest night, fighting on despite the fight. Behind closed doors, he feels the strain, hides the symptoms, bears the pain. Public face, strong facade, private battles, prayers to God. Parkinson's, it takes its toll on the body, mind, and soul. But courage shines in the darkest night, fighting on despite the fight. A promise broken, a secret kept in the shadows where he's wept. A leader's journey, dreams turn gray, the weight of truth no words can say. Speaking of words, the words are in the description. Okay, Dr. Gwain, please come back while I switch us back. Run away, run away. Okay, so that was
Is there
Parkinson's.
a title? That's the title to your song? Parkinson's 2024?
Parkinson's 2024 song, yeah. Okay, so that concludes our musical program for the evening. Okay, thank you.
There you go.
I stopped all the comments with that song. Wow, they are
Speechless.
they all got Parkinson's from it. They all decreased communication. Okay, thank you for watching, Dr. Gwain. Thank you for your helpful information and the experience you've had with Parkinson's. And we will have a show again next week. We don't have a topic yet, but until then.
Hey, I'm Dr. Gwain Vaughn.
And I'm Dr. Mark Vaughn. And until next time, stay in good health.
Doctors, thank you for another informative session. Auburn Medical Group is located in Auburn, California, USA. Thank you for participating. Please tell a friend and join us again next week.